Okay. All right. Well, we are starting here with Shevon Hoover.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. So, Que Madre, and you're on 96.5 FM KZAA. And today we are having a back to school special. I know my daughter was, we'll say nervous, but I think it's more like terrified this morning. She did not want to go inside.
Yeah, I know. My daughter, she experiences a level of anxiety as well. My son is so different. He's very social and he wants to be there. So, you know, it's, it's different. I think that I don't know, there's a certain nervousness that I carry, I know. And I hope that it's not rubbing off on my daughter in any way, but it's just the newness of it all. I feel they they really experience like a level of anxiety that's like, oh gosh, new teacher, new friends, new classroom, all of this. And it does take some getting used to. Children adapt well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was nervous too because today I did not put my eyeliner on, and that is not normal for me. I definitely feel very naked right now. So, yeah, back to school is also
still beautiful,
throwing me off, but hopefully I'll get used to the new routine.
Yeah, I think so. And also, for example, my daughter's going into sixth grade, so kind of being at the top of the school, it carries a little bit of more responsibility, I think, for them. But I don't know. Do you think your daughter's experienced any of that, or?
Well, it's second grade, and she just had a pretty terrible teacher for first grade. So
yeah,
I think she was just also nervous that she would get another bad teacher. But this morning when I dropped her off, her teacher seemed really nice. So I'm very hopeful that she'll be a lot better.
Yeah, that's so great. You know what I appreciate are the teachers that kind of go a little bit over and beyond for them. For example, I had emailed a teacher last year or the year before. I feel lost now that the COVID years passed us. They were like, okay, wait, how many years ago?
Yeah, we're in some weird space and time where it's all moving way too fast.
Yes. But I emailed my daughter's teacher and I said, listen, she's very nervous. She almost she did kind of cry a little bit at one point, and this was a couple of years ago or last year. In any case, she came out, she said, here, I brought the agenda with what we're doing today so you can be prepared. Here's a list of your classmates. Do you recognize any of your friends' names? And so she really gave her a little bit of like what to expect. So perhaps maybe that is the way to approach it. But I know for me also, like I get nervous, I was like, oh God, I gotta meet all these new parents and, be on my best behavior without losing myself, and
what are you talking about? You have such natural magnetism. Everyone loves you. And just as a reminder, Shevon Hoover was already on the show before, so check out that episode. It was a great episode on YouTube. So we're bringing her back, and she'll be joining us hopefully as often as possible.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. Yeah, no, I I do get along with most people, mostly everyone, but it's still kind of I think it's for everyone. Everyone has the little, back to school jitters. So I can imagine what the teachers are going through as well.
Yeah. Well, this morning my husband said that he looked in the class and that a lot of the kids looked familiar, but a lot of new kids. So I think they mixed them up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I think hopefully at least the ones that look familiar will help her feel a bit at ease.
Right. And how about the like getting up early again, and how was that for you guys?
Yeah, she did not want to get up this morning. She was like, no, I want to sleep.
Yes. So we started on Friday, and I thought that was like so strange to start on a Friday because it's like, okay, you're going to have them come for one day, and then at least like get them in a couple days. So
that's interesting.
Right. I'm not sure who pulled the trigger on that one, but whatever the strategy is, I hope it works out. So they got to go Friday and then have the weekend, and now it's like a full week. So previously, also when thinking about this, school seems to be starting so early. you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we didn't start until after Labor Day at
Yeah, I
times, I
remember
think.
starting in
Yeah.
September.
Right? It was always September. And then we always went through like, the first or second week of June. And I said, well, are we getting extra holidays or what's happening here? Are we just needing more hours in the classrooms? I'm not sure what's going on with that, but
Well, and also I thought there was a state law that passed that said that they had to start school later in the day because they were starting the kids too early. But it
Oh.
didn't affect our schedule at all. Our schedule is still exactly the same as it was
do you
last year.
start at 8:30 or 9?
7:47.
Oh, no. Well,
That is too early, right?
That's too early. That's a big ask of both parents and the students. My daughter starts at 8:30, my son starts at 9.
See, that is so much
Yeah.
better. I'm wondering if it's because we have such a large farm worker population and farm workers tend to start really early in the day.
Oh, yeah. They need to
but-
get there a little bit early.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, for the junior high, what I think is that the kids at this age, they need a little bit more sleep,
Yeah.
They're growing, they're hormonal, there's
Yeah, your kids are older. What's that like?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, so let's see, my son will be 14 in a couple months, and my daughter's 11. I know. And I was just talking to someone, and she has she had like a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, or 3 and 5, I think. It was just about the same age difference between her kids and my kids. And she was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going crazy, I don't know what to do. And I said, you know what, the days are really long, but the years are short. And all of a sudden your kids are bigger than you, and you're talking to them about they're changing bodies instead of like how to wipe themselves. It's a different set of challenges, but I feel like it does get easier once they're a little bit more independent. So while the conversations change and it's still challenging, it's like, well, to me, it's a little less stressful.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
Well, second grade is when I know my friends started talking to me about sex, and I don't know where they were getting their information from, but it makes me nervous and feel like I should already start talking to my daughter so that she doesn't get weird information from other kids.
Right.
But I am nervous about that conversation because I know my parents didn't ever have the talk with me. All I knew was I wasn't supposed to do it until I was married.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. You don't touch yourself. You don't touch anybody else. Yeah. So with my kids, I was raised the same way. It was like, not until you're married, and we're not talking about it. So I had no idea what was going on with my body. And so with my kids, I'm super scientific with it, and just keep it factual but simple, So
I like science.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you look in a textbook, things are going to be labeled. And so what are they labeled as? And at one point, I remember they were asking, about babies and where they come from. And I was like, oh yeah, well, the seed needs to fertilize the egg. And, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. So it's above their head a little bit, but I am giving them factual information,
Yeah.
And I even had them watch this National Geographic video. You could see the little tadpole swimming to the egg and fertilizing it, and they were young. they were probably about your daughter's age, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade.
So you were on that same track.
Yeah. I just, I didn't want them to be, and I still don't want them to be taken by surprise by anything. I would rather do the opposite of what my parents did. My dad had a joke, and it was so funny. He was like, oh, did you know aspirin can birth control? And I was like, what? Yeah, Dad, no, that's I don't know where you got that information. He's like, yeah, so what you do is you take the aspirin and you put it right between your knees and you hold it there. You hold it. Okay, Dad.
Oh my God.
All right. That was the extent of our conversation. So yeah. So, in talking about, okay, well, you're a boy, you're becoming a man. You're a little girl, but you're becoming a woman, and things are going to happen, and I want you to be prepared and not surprised, and kind of like know what's going on. So, but you're right, there are kids who are, they'll slip the, oh, did you know Santa was your parents? And you're like, why did you tell her? So, uh-oh.
Oh, it's too hot out here for my computer.